Calvert Citizens for a Healthy Community was born from people who lived in a community that right behind my community, Cove Point Woods. When Dominion last expanded back in 2006, which is when they added a small liquefaction train at the back of the plant right up against the state park, and added 3 single containment tanks, that if one of those tanks were to lose all its contents, the people were endangered for about 1,300 feet out. And like I said, that's the entrance to my community. The current expansion, for which there was no environmental impact statement, this one is adding 410,000 gallons of propane under pressure as the refrigerant. And the only place that they can put it is pretty much right up against Cove Point Road. And, LNG might not be flammable or explosive. However, propane is. And to me, that's the bigger danger. I'm not too keen on 21.5 tons of carcinogenic compounds being dumped into the immediate atmosphere for Lusby residents. We have, like I said, we have a pretty big community, 1/3 of the county's population, which means we have a lot of children around, and children and the elderly, the most vulnerable to these kinds of pollutants.
If they were a regulatory agency actually doing some sort of regulation, they would take environmental and health impacts into account. They would consider the impacts that this is having on communities. They don't do any of this stuff. What they do, they have very superficial, surface level stuff that makes it look like they have some sort of environmental assessment, that they actually look and care about the health risks, that these facilities and pipelines and cryogenics facilities and all of that stuff have on communities. But when you actually look at it, and when you actually start to go through that permitting process and try to get them to do a real assessment of the environmental or health impacts, if they took that stuff into account, it would shut down every single project.
Am I a super tree hugger? No. When it comes to people, you gotta have that balance. So I got in because I looked at it and the pollution and damage outweighs the help to people. That's what I've found. And that's totally rambling. It's horrible.